The Vaccaei of Vaccei were a pre-Roman Celtic people of Spain, who inhabited the sedimentary plains of the central Duero valley, in the Meseta Central of northern Hispania. Origins. The Vaccaei were probably largely of Celtic descent and probably related to the Celtiberians. The name may be derived from the Celtic word Vaccos, meaning a slayer, since they were celebrated fighters. However, some scholars have reasoned that the name Vaccaei may actually derive from Ode Ceia, a contraction of Ceia, the presumed ancient name of the modern river Ceia, prefixed by the Indo-European root *code. They often acted in consort with the neighbors, the Celtiberi, suggesting that they may have been part of the Celtiberian peoples. They had a strict egalitarian society practicing land reform and communal food distribution. This society was part of an Hispano-Celtic substrate, which explains the cultural, socio-economic, linguistic and ideological affinity of the Vaccaei Celtiberians, Vettans, Lusitani, Cantabri, Astures and Calabesi. The Vacceian civilization was the result of a process of local evolution, importing elements from other cultures, whether by new additions of people or cultural and trading contacts with neighboring groups. It is also believed that it was from the Vaccei that the warlike array Vaccei stemmed from around the late 4th century BC to conquer the eastern Meseta culture. Archaeology has identified the Vaccei with the Second Iron Age Duero culture, which evolved from the previous Early Iron Age Soto de Medina cultural complex of the Middle Duero Basin, being also affiliated with the Termodagi. This is confirmed by the stratigraphic study of the settlements, where have been found elements of the Vacceian culture on top of the remains of earlier cultures. For example, at Pincha, there is evidence of continuous human settlement since Neolithic times to the Iron Age, when the Vacceian period arose. The necropolis at Pincha is currently being excavated by an international field school students team every summer under the supervision of the University of Valladolid and the Federico Wattenberg Center of Vacceian Studies. The Vaccei were considered the most cultivated people west of the Celtiberians, and were distinguishable by a special collectivist-type social structure, which enabled them to exploit successfully the wheat and grass-growing areas of the Western Plateau. Location. The Vacceian homeland extended throughout the center of the northern Meseta, along both banks of the Duero River. Their capital was Palentia, and Ptolemy lists in the territory some 20 towns or civitates, including Helmantica, Salmantica, Arbacala, Pincha, Apincha, Intercancha, Corca, Septimanca, Rauda, Dus of Briga, and Ortraca or Ostrasa, located at the banks of the river Ortra, seized from the Otrogons in the late 4th century BC, to name but a few, although its borders are difficult to define, and shifted from time to time. It can be said to have occupied all of the province of Valladolid, and parts of Leon, Palencia, Burgos, Segovia, Salamanca and Zamora. By the time of the arrival of the Romans, the Ceia and Esla rivers separated the Vaccaei from the Astures in the northeast, while a line traced between the Esla and the Pisuerga rivers was the border with the Cantabri. To the east, the Pisuerga and Arlanza rivers marked the frontier with the Termodagi, and a little farther south, the array Vaccei were their neighbors and allies. On the south and southeast lay the Vettans, in an area that roughly corresponds to the distribution of barrancos around the highlands of Avila and Salamanca and at least between them and the Lusitanians. It is likely that there was some contact with the latter to the west of Zamora. History. Traditionally aggressive, the Vaccei were far from being the harmless and submissive nation portrayed by Paulus Orosius. They participated in the 5th century BC Celtic migrations alongside offshoots of the array Vaccei and Lusones to settle in the west and southwest. regions of the Iberian Peninsula. In the early 3rd century BC they aided the smaller Termodagi people in their liberation from the rule of the Autogons. The Vaccei enter the historical record around the late 3rd century BC, when in 221–220 BC they allied themselves with the Carpetani and Olcades to thwart Hannibal Barca's offensive into the respective territories, but they were defeated after the fall of Salmandaca and Arbacala to the Carthaginians. The Vaccei appear to have taken no part in the Second Punic War, though in 193–192 BC they joined the combined force of Carpetani, Vetins, and Celtiberians that was defeated by consul Marcus Fulvius at the Battle of Toletum. Alongside the Lusitani, they were again beaten by the praetor of Hispania Ulterior Lucius Postumius Albinus during its first incursion into the central Meseta in 179 BC. Allies of the Vaccaei during the Celtiberian Wars, the Vaccei assumed a more important role by supporting the neighbors, despite being subjected to the punitive campaigns carried out by the Roman consuls Lucius Licinius Lucullus, Marcus Popilius Linus and Marcus Aemilius Lepidus. After the destruction of Numantia in 134–133 BC, the Vaccei were technically submitted and included into Hispania Citeria province. However, during the Sertorian Wars they lent their support to Quintus Sertorius, with several Vaccian towns remaining loyal to his cause even after his death. In 76 BC, Sertorius sent one of its cavalry commanders, Gaius Instius, to the Vaccian country in search of remounts for its battered mounted troops. The backlash came in 74 BC when proconsul Pompey besieged the Vaccian capital Palencia, setting on fire its adobe brick walls and stormed Corca. Defeated in 73 BC by Quintus Caecilius Metellus Pius and Pompey, the Vaccei rose again in 57–56 BC in a joint uprising with the Termodagi and northern Celtiberians, only to be crushed by the praetor of Citeria Quintus Caecilius Metellus Nepos Iunia. Pressured by Astures and Cantabria raids, the Vaccei rebelled a last time in 29 BC, just prior to the Astur-Cantabrian Wars, only to be subdued by consul Titus Statilius Taurus. Romanization. The Vaccei were later aggregated to the new Hispania Tarraconensis province created in 27 BC by Emperor Augustus. Namesake. The Basques came to be called mistakenly Vaccaei and Vaccei by several early medieval chronicles and authors. Bibliography. Blanco, Antonio Bellido. Sobre la escritura entre los Vacceos, in ZEPHYRUS Revista de Prehistoria y Arqueología, Volume LXIX, and Aero Junio 2012, editions Universidad Salamanca, pp. 129–147. ISSN 0514-7336. Collins, Roger. The Vaccaei, the Vaccei, and the Rise of Vasconia. Studia Historica Vi. Salamanca, 1988. Reprinted in Roger Collins, Law, Culture and Regionalism in Early Medieval Spain. Variorum, ISBN 0860783081. Kremin, Edin, The Celts in Europe, Sydney, Australia. Sydney Series in Celtic Studies 2, Centre for Celtic Studies, University of Sydney. ISBN 0867586249. Alvarado, Alberto Lario J. Los Celtiberos, Universidad Complutense de Madrid, Murcia. ISBN 84-7908-3352. Duke, Angel Montenegro e alla Historia de España tu colonizaciones y formación de los pueblos preromanos. Editorial Grados, Madrid. ISBN 84-249-1013-3. González Cobos, A.M. Los Vacceos estudió sobre los pobladores del Valle Medio del Duero durante la penetración romana. Universidad Pontificia Salamanca. Motosa, Francisco Berrio. Los Caldeberos, Etnias y Estados. Crítica, Grijalbo Mondadori, S.A. Barcelona. ISBN 8474238919. Lena de Kirchen. The Romanization of Central Spain, Complexity, Diversity and Change in a Provincial Hinterland. Routledge. pp. 37. ISBN 9781134451128. Further reading Almagra Gorbia, Martin, Les Celtes dans la péninsule Ibérique, in Les Celtes, edition stock, Paris ISBN 2-234-04844-3. Barrical Rangel, Luis, Los Pueblos Celticos del Suroeste de la Península Ibérica, Editorial Complutense, Madrid ISBN 8474914477. Barrical Rangel, Luis Namp, Guards, Philippe, Entre Celtas y Iberos, Fundación Casa de Velázquez, Madrid, Martino, Eutimio, Roma Contricante Bros y Astures, Nueva Lectura de las Fuentes, Breviarios de la Cal del Pazén, 33, Difurtación Provincial de León, Editorial Il Terre, Santander ISBN 8487081932. O'Hogain, Davy, The Celts, A History, The Collins Press, Cork ISBN 0851159230. Koch, John T. Celtic Culture, A Historical Encyclopedia, ABC Clio Inc., Santa Barbara, California ISBN 185109-4407, 185109-4458. Zapatero, Gonzalo Ruiz Ally, Los Celtas, Hispania y Europa, dirigido por Martin Almagra Gorbia, Universidad Complutense de Madrid, Editorial ACTS SL, Madrid.